EntreMemphis. Come up, give a brief bio about him. Let's see, just a moment. Did you have, are you gonna talk?
Well, I'm gonna talk, but I can pull it up.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't have a presentation, but I can
okay.
pull up the site.
No problem. Okay. Ron Brooks, creative founder of EntreMemphis. He's the creative founder, a co-working community collaborative that provides workspace options for entrepreneurs, freelancers, and artists in the downtown Edge District. He's a native Memphian of the Orange Mound area, member of Phi Beta Sigma, graduated at the University of Memphis. He has over 14 years experience in banking, the banking industry, business banking, consultation, branch management, and regional executive management. He's owned and sold 2 businesses, as well as currently owns 2 commercial real estate properties in the area. His community and service experience includes volunteering work with Orion Federal Credit Union, serving on the Shelby County Health, Education, and Housing Boards, Streets Ministries, Shelby County Schools, and other several platforms. He's married 9 years to his lovely wife, Kimberly, and has 3 beautiful young daughters. So we're going to bring Ron up. He's going to tell you about the office space and other space opportunities for EntreMemphis.
Right.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We can do better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
We've had such a great time so far with some tremendous speakers, whether it's SCORE or Lynn with First Tennessee. And here, I'll kill that for you. Hear the music right now. So, as Robin has said, my name is Ron Brooks. I'm the creative founder of EntreMemphis downtown in the Edge District. And we are a co-working community collaborative for entrepreneurs, freelancers, and artists. Now, I'll get to that in a little bit. Camille talks about corporate slaves. And I want to talk a little bit quickly about that and kind of, it was a great tie-in to how I got into entrepreneurship. So let me take you back in time a little bit. You go back to August of 2004. I'm a 23-year-old financial services representative in a new branch downtown in what used to be the Morgan Keegan Tower. And my boss's boss comes in, meets with me and tells me what a great job I've been doing. At that point, I've been with the company about 2 years, and I had helped open up this new branch. I came into the company, this company's Regions Bank. I came into the company as a management trainee after my junior year at the University of Memphis. And so he tells me what a great job I've done, and high-fives me and that kind of thing. Asks me what I'd like to do in the future at the bank and that kind of thing. And I'm gung-ho, I'm very excited. And he leaves a piece of paper on my desk. Now, of course, this is your boss's boss, so, you kind of want to, he's already left, so I want to get the paper back to him. But you're a little nosy too, so he walks around with different reports and things like that. So this was actually a report that he left on my desk. And my name's at the top of the report. So as you know, at work, that can be a great thing or not so good, depending on the topic of the report. So my name's at the top, and it's got a number out to the side that says over 1.2 million in revenue. It was an FTE report, which is a full-time employee report. So again, this is August of 2004. I'm at the top of the list. I've generated Regions Bank over $1.2 million. And there's a series of names below that. And so what goes into that is a lot of financial analysis around salary benefits, loans that I generated, new deposit accounts, things like that. They were paying me at that time about $29,000 was my annual salary. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I've generated them a little over 1.2 million in just overall top line revenue. But then, I see what I'm earning. So I said, that's a big discrepancy. And we're only through August, right? So we've got the whole, we got several more months to go. So I said to myself, Regis was started from entrepreneurship. You know, someone had to have started this like FedEx with Mr. Smith, who I banked several of his admin before. So I was able to get a great introduction to him, and he's a fantastic gentleman. But that really kind of got me into the spirit of entrepreneurship. And so, like it was stated, I had you know, some businesses that I've sold. I had a consignment business called Mind Your Business that I started up and was able to sell, which was very interesting given the consignment business because I didn't own a whole lot of assets or things like that, as you could think in that kind of business model. And then also with commercial real estate. And then real quick, I purchased a building. We talked some about lending, and I want to get into a topic, shared economy. But I own a building at 2027 Madison Avenue, which is kind of right in the Overton Square area, kind of diagonal from the Blue Monkey, actually right next to LBOE, which burned down about 2 months ago. And I bought that in July of 2012. Matter of fact, just a couple weeks before Bob Lowe got the funds from the city to begin revamping Overton Square, so perfect timing of all of us. But I got the funds to put down from Kickstarter. So I did crowdfunding. I did a campaign, didn't know what I was doing, just saw it was out there. And I just started kind of pushing it through social media. I did up a few flyers and I would take it out to people, the gyms and libraries and things like that. And I saw on Twitter, I wasn't a big Twitter user, but I saw that, and I didn't know anything about hashtags like we all do now and that kind of thing. So I started hashtagging, I saw people tagging people. So I just started tagging celebrities. Shaq was on there real big. Kobe Bryant had just opened up one, several of those celebrities. And what really jumped it off, and he was here in Memphis just, I think last week, Roland Martin. Keep in mind what was going on in 2012, the presidential campaign and all that. And you had President Obama and Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney. And so all that was kind of going on. So Roland was really big on TV and kind of doing that thing. And he began retweeting, because I was just hammering him with my crowdfunding campaign. And of course, he's got 3 million followers. So he retweets it a couple times. And so I started having people, donate to it I had a guy from Russia send me an email and gave me $100. Just a random guy. Never met him before. If he walked in here, I wouldn't know who he was. But just loved the campaign. And so all in all, I raised $15,000 in that campaign over 45 days. I used that to put down to purchase the building. So that leads me to kind of really what I want to get into from EntreMemphis' standpoint, which is the shared economy. And, I want to get into some of what Camille talked about from a generational standpoint. But, what we do from a co-working standpoint is we participate in that shared economy. Can anybody tell me what the shared economy is? What do you think about when you think of shared economy?
What we put into the proposal?
Anybody used Uber before? eBay? Amazon? Those are what when we talk about the shared economy, we talk about how we share resources and connect together. And that's part of what co-working is. So co-working is more than just a place that you go to, like a Starbucks on steroids where you get coffee and you got free Wi-Fi. That's one thing. The big thing of what we provide is the community, and the community, and like with the resource that SCORE brings, is that allows you to be able to connect as well as collaborate and look for opportunities to then enhance your business opportunity through that connectivity. And so that's what we bring. But the shared economy, there's about 53 million people who are freelancers now. Now think about that compared to if you go back to the 80s and 90s, where a lot of people work for companies. You had manufacturing was real big and that kind of thing. That's kind of transition now. So we went from agriculture to all the way through the kind of service economy, and now we're in more of a shared economy where everybody's looking at, whether you're a large company or you're starting out as a startup, everybody's looking for how they manage resources. And then everybody's looking for how they create experiences. And so that's about 34% of the workforce now, and that's going to increase. And so, how do we lend to those people? You know, Lynn spoke, very eloquently about, some of the standards that banks have, and how to really engage in the importance of engaging with your bank. But how do you do that with a generation of people who won't have a W-2? Or a generation of people who, when you pull their resume up, they were at AutoZone for a year and a half. Then they went to Starbucks and they worked 6 months. And then they went to FedEx and they worked 3 years. Then they left FedEx. You're gonna have a whole generation of those people. It's not gonna be, nobody's gonna work at, Firestone for 40 years. And you're not gonna have that. So how do you engage those people, and how do you reach them, on various different levels, even with your business? So as your business evolves and generations evolve, how do you do that? And so participating in the shared economy, and of course, definitely FedEx is a leader in that. First Tennessee is a leader in that. And many of you work for companies that are really embracing that. But what we do downtown is, again, we provide that shared workspace. So that doesn't mean that, you got people sitting on top of each other and, everybody's kind of, pulling and tugging for different resources. Again, what that means is, from a communal standpoint, people are looking to be more frugal and resourceful, and not quite as wasteful. Now, if you look at that from a macro standpoint, the United States had become that, right? Some of the past generations were a little more invested into, and Lynn spoke about some of this. There was a time where people got married at 23, had 4 kids, and went on vacation off the HELOC. Millennials don't do that, right? They don't borrow money in that because they don't create those life events that early, in general. So it's very important that we keep that in mind. All of us that are, whether you are working or you're an entrepreneur or you're both, that we keep that in mind as we move through what's called the shared economy. The shared economy has leveraged technology to connect people. That's it. That makes sense? Now, what is the downside of the shared economy? What would you say? So we talked about some of the upsides. What are some of the downsides of the shared economy? Anybody? What about control? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say interpersonal communication and building of relationships, people to people, or person to person.
That came in one. Yeah, so control is one, right? Think about what I talked about with office space. Traditionally, you would go, let's just say you want to have a nice office space out in East Memphis, and you're going to pay $20 a square foot. You're going to sign a 3 to 5 year lease, and the landlord's going to hand you the key and collect first and last month's rent, and then wait for you to pay next month. And then if you don't, he's going to start the process, right? That allows you to then control your own office. Now, when you're in a shared kind of workspace, you're sharing that office with someone else. So you may use it for a specific period of time, and then someone else may use it. That allows you to scale a lot better. So, when you talk about, managing expenses in your business and things like that, and you're at that level where now you need a location. So you're kind of, we talked about working from home or working from a Starbucks and things like that, or a coffee shop. When you're ready for that, there's an opportunity for you to transition beyond, that set workspace that you would have, to yourself. But with that, you have the control, which you don't have sometimes in the shared economy. Think about when you get an Uber, right? So if me and Philip are standing somewhere, we could both order an Uber at the same time. That one person's gonna come. Me and Philip may share the Uber. Now, the person driving the car, that's their car. So what stops me and Philip from trashing the back of the car and getting out of the car? It's a little difficult to do in a taxi, right? Because during the taxi, I'm paying for myself for the most part, unless we agree to share. So yes, there's challenges with the shared economy that people as human beings have to work through. And that has to bring us back together. So we have, part of the millennial thinking is that coming back together. You see millennials moving back into urban areas and things like that. They're not quite as suburban. And Memphis has to really get on board with that. We're a spread out city. Square miles wise, we're bigger than New York and some of the other large cities that are a little more densely populated. Because we went through a generation of, thank you, because I'll tell you Robin, I need that. Of living 40 miles away and driving in downtown. That's changing. That's definitely changing. So think about, as you look at various websites and things like that, and within your business as you're starting online or you have presence online, think of those opportunities from the shared economy standpoint, and also think of the generational mindset as you move forward, because the freelance population is only going to increase. And so how you engage them and their spending habits and their spending behavior is going to be critical to your business. And we provide a space for you to connect with people, working with resources like SCORE, Black MBA, Ricky Tucker back there with BBA, who's been a mentor of mine as well over the years, and definitely appreciate that. Take advantage of these various resources so you're not on your own out here at all. And certainly, as Camille said, you could be a corporate slave, but that's not necessarily true. People like you are very instrumental in helping your business. Because, think about it, your business, while you need that hands-on with people who've experienced it, it's good to get feedback from those who are maybe not necessarily in business, who may think from a customer standpoint. And that's very critical. And think about it with your business anyway, who's coming in to patronize it anyway? People work. Just like when people get in trouble, who they borrow from? People work. So the same entrepreneur will, they don't cast out entrepreneurs when they get in trouble, they ask people to work, right? So, we're definitely available to help. We're at 287 Madison. Love for you to come down. We've got a very kind of eclectic space for those who maybe have been down there. Over 10,000 square feet. It's a 95-year-old building. It's got a lot of, originality to it. In terms of its amenities and things like that, but we're open to everybody. We don't have a just specific set target. But if you need a place and you're looking for somewhere to kind of plug in, downtown's a great place to do that, and so we'd love to have you. But remember the shared economy. Think of ways that your business will evolve as people evolve. And then the last thing, and we were talking about this earlier. Lynn and I. Don't forget about the other generations. A lot of the media fanfare, because now millennials are so large, will tell you just to focus in on millennials. Don't fall into that trap. There are other generations. Talking generations not to put off another generation. So whether it's Generation X, whether it's baby boomers, whether it's the World War II generation, whatever that is, they all bring various aspects to your business. So don't forget to connect with them. Everybody's got a different way of connecting and how they view the world. But make sure that you still incorporate that into your business, because that's critical too. You don't want to make that fatal mistake of focusing solely in just one generation and lose touch. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I definitely appreciate it, and I'll be around for a Q&A as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, just a time check and check for any